That the previous video was 3 hours, and I knew it was going to be 3 hours because it was so much information I wanted to cover. But this is a, let's just say this is a part two, but it's not going to be that long because this is going to be the just a Q&A and review of what I just talked about. Yeah, something told me not to go past 3 hours, and it stopped my video. It's too long. So I was talking about guns. Mm-mm. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna share my experience real quick before I get into the Q&A of weapons. Like I said, I've never touched a gun or firearm in this 34 years of living. However, I did have, I believe it was called a mace or a pepper spray, and what I decided to do at the time, it was so dumb. I had sprayed it. I'm glad I did it though. I had sprayed some of it in my apartment. And I don't think nobody, because, some of my family members kept encouraging me to, oh, you need to get a taser. I'm telling you, you got to get a pepper spray, blah, blah, blah. They didn't tell me this part. They didn't say, hey, by the way, once you spray it, make sure you do it outside, and because it's going to expand in the whole room if you do it inside, and you're going to begin to choke. They didn't tell me that part. And that's what happens. You know, difficult to breathe being close to that stuff. It's mace or pepper spray. That's about it. I don't really have that much experience when it comes to weapons. But that I thought was funny, but at the same time, sometimes when I think about it, it's even funnier because it's like I feel kind of silly the fact that I even had it, thinking that I needed it at the time when really I didn't need it. I didn't need it at all. But at that time, I was influenced by someone to think that I needed it. Oh, okay. And I want to share another experience that I had in high school involving. So when I talked about the Newton's third law, to every action causes a reaction. Hey, you know what? Let me say this real quick. I know these videos are long. My goal next week, because I'll be serious, but I'll be playing at the same time. Something told me this was going to reach 3 hours. But my series, for real, my goal next week is to either be maybe about 40 minutes or an hour. I don't want to overwhelm y'all with too much information. Okay, so I want to try to make it shorter. However, if you really like me and you like my message and you believe in me as a person, you will probably watch the whole thing. So I don't want to limit myself and doubt myself and say, oh, this is too long. Who's going to watch that? There's times I've watched videos that lasted maybe more than 2 hours. But they got like drink tramps and stuff that be lasting for a while. So it's like, hey, that's why I got to remind myself. If someone really likes me and they like the message, or maybe they don't like the message, who knows? Maybe they're interested in what I'm talking about. They'll probably still watch it. But just know that I'm going to do my best to try not to overwhelm people so much because I know that's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I don't want to, but some things need to be said, and maybe it's these topics that I'm discussing is so like I said, we were talking about race wars last week, and now I'm talking about assassinations and weapons. Yeah, it might not be just a 40-minute video. I mean, I want to try to cram everything in there because what I don't like is how people like to share a piece of the truth and not all of the truth. That's probably why this is lasting so long, because I want to paint this whole picture for you to see the whole thing and how it really is from my perspective and with the facts. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that. Back to what I was saying. Sharing my experience. Oh yeah, okay. So I want to share my experience. This happened so long ago. In high school. Mm, happened in high school. Uh, when I was being provoked, and me mentioning this is because of me being inspired by the story of Malcolm X. You know, after him exposing Elijah and separating himself, he was constantly being provoked. It seemed like it was a constant thing. Threats, that's a form of provoking. Someone approaching you with a knife, putting fear in you, that's a way of provoking. If they make fun of you or they mock you, that's a way of provoking. It's a way to get you or a person to react in a hostile manner, so you do something that you will regret, like grab a gun and shoot at the sky so many times. That's how people want you to react, so you can be in a lot of trouble. That's what they want. So, reason why I'm saying this is because I didn't. When I was in high school, I didn't have that understanding. When I was a child, I didn't have that understanding. I used to get provoked a lot, even when it wasn't even deserved. I mean, me being a child, that's probably the only time I can really be confident to say I didn't. I don't ever feel like I deserve to be provoked. But what I'm saying is, there was the Newton's law didn't make any sense at that time because there wasn't, and this is the truth, it wasn't anything that I was doing that caused that reaction to return to me. So, just an innocent child and people provoking me for no reason. I mean, I'm sure they have whatever reason they come up with in their head, but it happened to me when it wasn't even, I didn't do anything to cause it to happen. So I have a long history of being provoked as a child. And I think that's why I didn't understand what was happening, because as a child, it was happening when I didn't even do anything to cause it to happen. Now, as an adult, I'm going to tell you a situation where I did something that caused it to happen. But really being younger, no, it was crazy. Um, yeah, well, it's like being bullied. But, okay, so, anyways, there was this relationship I was in. I mean, it wasn't no serious thing. It was with somebody that I didn't even want to really be in a relationship with. I just wanted us to be friends. And I said that many times. Where I went wrong is going against what I believed in the beginning of us just being friends. That's how I felt. But me deciding to give someone a chance, knowing I don't feel that way about that person, that's not, I don't do that no more. Because I don't feel bad rejecting people. I've been rejected. But if someone likes me and I don't like them the same way, I'm gonna let them know, like, no, let's just be friends. Or I might just simply want to be friends until it can become something else. Because I've learned that getting too serious in a relationship can be very harmful without being friends first. So it could be different things. It could be, I really truly just, and I'll let that person know, I really truly just see you as a friend. That's it. Or it might be a situation like, okay, yeah, let's be friends and let's see where this can go. But we're just friends right now. We're not committed. I'm not in a relationship with you, but it's possible we might be something else. Who knows? But let's just be friends for now, because I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do things backwards like what I was doing, right? But in high school, I used to do things backwards a lot, almost every day. The only thing I probably did frontwards that wasn't backwards is read the Bible. Because that's when I really started to read the Bible a lot, was in high school. But I was getting in trouble a lot. So I was very conflicted mentally. But the situation of me with this person, like I said, I don't like to say names because, like, hey, look, I ain't trying to repeat what happened, you know, with some people. I ain't trying to expose nobody. I don't want to make nobody look bad. However, me sharing my story, I mean, you got to mention something. You got to mention what happened. But I don't want to say the person's name because it's unnecessary. There was a time where I think he said something. I'm trying to remember. I think he said something stupid or something because he used to do that, like say just some really dumb stuff. And it would make me so mad. And I didn't, at the time, I didn't see him as purposely provoking me. Now, me looking back, I might be like, okay, he probably was doing it on purpose because he knew I had a temper. And he knew I was probably going to do something. Um, anyways, there was this time where he had said something. And I just remember going in a rage. I got so upset and I grabbed his backpack and I, for some reason, I turned into the Hulk or something. At first, I was just me. And then all of a sudden, the rage turned me into a Hulk because I just remember swinging him. This is somebody who's way taller, way bigger than me, but I just remember swinging him around in the street by his back. And I'm laughing because it's funny. It's funny, but it's not. But I'm just laughing because maybe I can't believe that I actually did that. Like grabbing him by his backpack and just swinging him, like kind of like throwing him out in the street. And I used to do stuff like that. I'm sure people saw it, but I didn't care because I was that mad. Um, there was with the same person. There was another situation where I think I hit him because he said something dumb again. It was the dumb stuff that he used to say was more like insults. Like I felt like he was insulting me. It was like insults, like just disrespect. Like somebody say something real dumb to you, but it's disrespectful. It's so disrespectful, and it makes you want to hit them, right? I don't react that way no more because I have a better understanding of it's I just have a different understanding. But I remember in the time where I did hit him, someone else that was nearby saw it and they got so upset with me that I was like, I felt like, wait, why you getting upset with me? Didn't you hear what he just said? Like, seriously, what he said was so disrespectful. It was so insulting. If you watch a movie and the guy disrespects a woman and she slaps him, usually when you watch that, people are not like, oh my God. Their reaction is not like this. It's not like she should not have slapped him like that. No. Their reaction usually is like, oh my God, can you believe what he said to her? That's usually what it's like when you watch a movie. When guys being so disrespectful, and then oftentimes we feel like he deserved to get hit in the face. That's how I felt. But seeing someone else's reaction and them looking at me like it's my fault because they see me hit somebody else, I felt some kind of way about it. Hold on. Didn't you see what he said? And you want to justify? I still kind of feel the same way about it. I'm not going to lie. Because I know what he said. It was so bad. It was just disrespectful. But the reason why I'm sharing this brief experience, I mean, it's so brief. Um, because yeah, um, me thinking about the stuff that I mentioned with officer going in a different state, people being upset with me. I, coming to that conclusion of the other events that led up to that. That's why I blame myself for it, because I thought back when, just thinking when you hit someone, um, they can deserve it. They do probably do deserve to get hit. That's why the Bible, when it mentions about how we should be graceful in our speech, because you might come across that one person that's like, what did you say? And they might not have no self-control over their temper and they hit you. But it's not the right way to react. It's not, So this is my thing. What we don't want to do with, you know, when I say we, I mean me, but I mean you. Hopefully you. I don't want you to do it too. What we don't want to happen is to put ourselves in a position where you got somebody else sticking their nose, you know, putting a inserting themselves in the conversation that ain't got nothing to do with them, and now they can say, "Hey, leave him alone," and that's gonna make you even madder, because it's like, hold on, did you see what he just said? Now you got two people mad at you. You know, even you could have been right too. You could have been rightfully right, rightfully right in what you are saying, but putting your hands on somebody, that gives that other person to justify their negative behavior. And now they got people on their side that can defend them and point the finger at you too. Now they got more people on their side to come up against you just from one hit or a punch or a slap or whatever it is. I mean, if you at home and it's just you and that person, it might be, situation might be different. But if you out, and that was in public when it happened, I didn't care. But that was in public. You out and there's other people. I mean, even if at home, there's still a way of that slap being returned to you. Trust me, it happens. Anyways, yeah, that was my experience in high school. That, I mean, that's just a small part of my life. Oh my God, it's just a small part. But I just wanted to mention it. It's, sometimes being in that situation, person make you so upset. There's other people that see it. You don't want to give these other people any ammunition to come at you disrespectful either. That's just making the problem worse, because oftentimes people do want you to be upset. There's a lot of evil people in the world, and their goal is to see how mad can we get her today. We want her to get so mad to where she walk around like this crazy person, so we can look like we're sane, and she can look like the crazy person. So our goal is to get her as mad as possible today. Let's see if we can accomplish it. That's a person having a lot of power over you if they can do that. And I was ignorant to that fact. Very ignorant to that fact. Anyways, good old times. Anyways, I want to go into the Q&A, because this, like I said, this video is definitely not going to be that long, because this is just an extension of that 3-hour video that I'm definitely sharing a lot of important information about guns and assassinations, Malcolm X, and that video. Anyways, part 4. I'm skipping the reenactment today. I'm not ready to do my reenactments. That might come in the future. I'm not ready to do that. But I think the fact that I'm mentioning so much information, it kind of makes up for that fact. But that'll probably be in my later videos when they get more interesting than this. So here's some questions that I decided to come up with and write down about the lesson that we had today about guns in America. Are they more dangerous or safer? So, question one, is it safer or more dangerous to carry a firearm or a gun? I'm just quiet. I was quiet because I just want y'all to think about it. Like, what's your opinion? I don't expect everybody to think like me because not everybody's gonna think like me. But what do you think? My thoughts is, well, what I was asked is, what does the statistics show? If you Google and look this up, you'll probably be able to see the number of deaths caused by guns in the total U.S. history. But earlier I mentioned in the year 2023, it was reported about 47,000 gun related deaths just in that year alone. I just wanted to just mention just that one year to give you an idea of, whoa, what can happen in all these other years. Just in that one year. That's what it was reported. My answer is I do believe it's more dangerous to own and carry a gun. You have to really be trained and skilled and think about, why do you have it? Do you really need it for self-defense? Because just know that if you put your trust in God, I'm not trying to sound corny or like my grandma, but I'm serious. It's true. If you put all your trust in God, He will protect you. Lean not on your own understanding. He will, and you lean on the ways God thinks. He will protect you. I really believe that. Uh, question two. I think that was obvious of me, you knowing my thoughts on if I believe guns are safer or more dangerous based on the 3 hour video, previous video that I did. Question two, is it legal for a U.S. citizen to carry a firearm? Yeah, yeah, it's legal. As I mentioned before, the Second Amendment mentions the right to bear arms, which gives us as U.S. citizens a right to carry a gun. However, there could be certain factors that play into whether you get the gun, But I think it's funny when I was reading right to bear arms, I had to ask myself, what does that mean? Why didn't they just say the right to have a gun, or right to have a firearm, or bear arms? Because I've been trying to analyze stuff and really understand what it means and what it meant. I start thinking about the like situations where I've slapped someone several times. I've been slapping people around town. And I don't do it no more. You know, but it made me think of that. Like, you think of bare arm. Okay, I'm thinking of my arms. I'm thinking of actual arms, even though I know that's not what it means. It means something else. Talking about weapons, but still, I'm thinking of what an arm is to me. Like, these are my arms, and you bear something. What does that mean? You have a right to bear arms. Well, we know it's talking about you have a right to protect yourself using a gun, but thinking about an actual physical fist fight and someone using their arms to punch someone, to me that makes more sense. Even though it's on the contrary stating something else, sometimes I think a person needs to read between the lines to understand what some things are telling you. And the more I kept reading that, I'm like, that's what makes sense to me, because I feel like it's more dangerous for a person to protect themselves, self-defense with a gun. We have those exceptions with law enforcement. It seems like there's always an exception to the rule, right? But I'm saying just like an everyday U.S. citizen like me or you. But the fact that it states right to bear arms, That's another way of me looking at it from a different perspective, is to saying, hey, I have a right to punch you. Even though it's talking about weapons, I'm thinking of actual arms. Using my arms to punch or slap someone, right? But I just thought that was interesting, the way that I was able to see it from a different perspective, knowing what it means. Some things can tell you, it can paint you a different picture if you look at it differently. That's why I see it. It's like, okay, yes, that's the way I see it. Yes, they trying to tell us we have a right to own a gun or have a gun. However, we have a right. It might. This is what I'm trying to say. It might be better using your fist instead. That's the way I see it. Like the fact that they call it arms, because you know when you say a person is armed, that means they're carrying some kind of weapons. They have it on them. But the fact that it's even called armed, I know I probably sound dumb right now, but that just made sense to me. Like that's just another way of seeing it. This is another way of seeing it from a different perspective. Okay, I got a right to use my arms instead. I don't have to use a gun because I have the right. I can use my arms instead. Anyways, question 3. How is it possible to prevent, I think I already talked about this. How is it possible to prevent an assassination like the well-known people that were mentioned? You know, I mentioned John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X. How is it possible? Well, I wrote down some key points that I felt like were very helpful to know, that can help someone else and even myself to just be aware of. How can we prevent what happened to them to happen to us? So here are the key points. Number 1, don't purchase a gun. Just don't do it. 2, and when I say purchase a gun, just don't use one, okay? Because someone can say, well, I didn't purchase a gun, but I used one. Come on, you know what I mean. Don't purchase it. Don't use it. Don't rely on it for nothing. Human beings were here before guns existed. Therefore, we don't need them. We were here first. So we don't need guns. 2, try not to expose people. Oh, yeah. That's something else I wrote. Try not to expose people by name in the dirt they are doing behind closed doors, like the sin. Try, like me doing a video right now. If I mentioned names, it was probably the well-known names that have, it's already been in the public, like people that were assassinated. I'm talking about myself. I was talking about Malcolm X. I'm talking about people that were possibly involved in his assassination. Stuff like that. That's okay. It's already public record. But someone in your personal life that's done you wrong, you make a video and you put their name in it. Oh, probably not a good idea. Now, if you put someone's name in the video and you're saying great things about them, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But if you're exposing the dirt and bad, sinful stuff they're doing or evil stuff, not a good idea. Not a good idea. Okay? Number 3, love your enemy. Yeah. I want to say this. Love your enemy. What? Okay. What loving your enemy? Because I think when a lot of people hear this, it rubs people the wrong way, or it makes them feel some kind of way. Like, I ain't about to love nobody. And sometimes I feel like that too. Like, I ain't about to love nobody that don't love me back. But that's not what love your enemy really means. Are you going to be in a relationship with your enemy? Probably not. Are you going to have friends that's your enemy? Probably not. That's stupid. It's really dumb. However, do you have to go to work? Do you have a job? Do you have to go to work and work with people that you don't like and they don't like you? Is it possible your coworkers could be your enemy? Do you feel mistreated by some of your coworkers at work? This is just an example. Whatever job you have, there's going to be people you don't like and people that don't like you, and they're going to make it known that they don't like you by what comes out of their mouth, the way they treat you. But in those times, does that mean you have to be friends with them at work? Does that mean you have to be in a relationship? No. What it means is you have to learn how to love them from where they are, mentally, spiritually, whatever, where they are. And that's what loving your enemy means. Like, oh God, I got to see this person again. They are so rude, but I have to coexist with them because I need my job. You have to find a way to be gracious, and not every day is going to be a perfect day because we're human beings. So I'm not expecting no one to be perfect every day. That's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. We have our moments. However, the more you practice it, it becomes a skill and you get better at it. I used to think this was really fake when I would see people doing it. I think it's fake when you're befriending someone, you're trying to be a friend with someone that you don't really like. And then you're trying to love that enemy. That's fake. But loving your enemy from a distance because you have to, because it's a space you don't want to be in, but you have to be around these people, that's not fake. That's what you have to do to keep your job and to keep the peace and to so less problems can happen. That's what loving your enemy means. And it happens often. Okay, it can happen in the grocery store, happen at the mall, public places, events, right? But the reason why I mention work is because I think that's the most common place where people have problems at. Is because we need a job, we all need money, so we all got to go to some place where there's people there that we don't like, and they probably don't like us either for whatever reason. Who knows? Who cares? But we have to coexist in some kind of way. Okay, so anyways, love your enemy. Number 4, be as accurate as possible when challenged or questioned. So remember what I'm talking about. How is it possible to prevent an assassination like the well-known people that were mentioned? I said be as accurate as possible when challenged or questioned. What I mean by that, in your everyday life, communication is definitely important. Maybe I used to didn't think it was until I understood how it really impacted me. Whatever you say can affect everybody around you. Even if, you know, let's say you're saying something nice. It don't even have to be nothing bad, but you're not using accurate terms. I mean, I just think the more educated a person is, and I'm not saying, when I say educated, I'm not talking about going to college. Oh my God, you're known for this person that's gone to college and you got a PhD in this, or you know all these long, big words. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying be educated enough to make your words accurate when they come out. Don't put yourself in a position where someone can call you a liar and accuse you of being a liar because you worded it wrong. And what I meant to say, that's not what I meant to say. I didn't mean to say it like that. I meant to say it like this. And then it makes you really think more like, okay, maybe I need to reword this stuff and change the way I'm talking because people try to twist. Sometimes they try to do that. They'll twist your words and make it something that it's not. And I think that has an impact on how a person can come up with false allegations. False allegations is when they know how to twist your words and make you look like a liar. That has a definitely it's a key factor into people being confident to try to lie on somebody. Definitely be accurate. 5, don't be afraid to speak up and use your voice, but treat people the way you want to be treated. So, yeah, I I mean, so remember, I was talking about Malcolm X. He was a very strong minded person. He knew he had rights. He was advocating for those rights, talking, discussing about that. I believe that was one of his main messages, is just wanting other people to be aware of their rights as a colored African American person. But don't take it too far. Know that we're all human beings, and you want to treat people how you want to be treated too. So there should be a balance of when you can speak up and use your voice, but don't don't be mean. When I say mean, sometimes I might say stuff and I think it's funny, and other people might, oh, that was cruel, that was messed up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just playing, you know. But and that's not the kind of mean I mean. I mean, like, when I'm saying mean, like, seriously, like, you feel like you got to speak up and use your voice so much to where you're being destructive in the community. Like, sometimes you see people with the protests and demonstrations, and they take it too far. There's police involved, and they're all on the highway, and there's a difference between a peaceful and lawful demonstration than a unlawful, unpeaceful demonstration. And sometimes people take it too far. That's what I mean. Like, we have a right to speak up, but be aware of how you're treating other people. However, I want to say this real quick. No, never mind. I ain't gonna say that. Anyways, moving on to question 4. What is, okay, what if my job requires me to use a firearm? Okay, now my answer is, I understand that. As I mentioned before, police officers, security, sheriffs, so on. Different careers that use guns, and to be honest with you, my thoughts on it now is I don't feel bad about it. I don't really disagree with it, mainly because I have seen people try to trample on the police. I've seen it in videos. I've seen people become so unruly, or what's the word I'm thinking? They've become so out of control to where it honestly, I feel like they probably need it, because these people have become so out of control when it comes to authority and law enforcement. And I'm not saying, oh, a person is in a situation and now they're reacting off of the way they're being treated. No. And even though I say there's still a way we can react differently, I'm not even talking about that situation. I'm talking about you out there knowing you have a right to use your voice, but you take that right too far by being disrespectful to the police officers and not respecting their authority because you feel like you have the right to use your voice. It's like, no, you still got to be respectful. That's what I mean. The reason why I'm saying this again uh, is because this is why I feel like it might be necessary for them to have weapons in law enforcement, because people get out of control and someone needs to calm them down. There's been a history of riots that has happened in the U.S., and somebody needs to get these people under control. Like, it seems like the more I continue to keep watching the riot, that's really the main thing I was thinking, is like, I'm glad they had the police there, because all the damage they was doing to the buildings, it was so bad. Someone needed to intervene and get the people under control. So no, I don't object to that. That's my opinion. If your job requires you to use one, then you are putting yourself in that position to know the risk of using a gun. That's my thoughts. Um, I wanted to work a job that requires a gun, but the fact that it didn't work out, I'm not as disappointed. I'm kind of happy because I don't feel comfortable using weapons, but I do just have that understanding that you'll be putting yourself in that position that you're probably taking a risk. You know, when they say we got these officers that's putting their life on the line. In a way, they are because there's people that use weapons in the world, and then they're using weapons. That's why I feel like they're putting their life on the line because there's weapons involved, and then now they have to interact with other people that want to be stupid for a day and use a weapon and do something dumb. So that's my question. Mhm. 5. What if I have a close friend I confide in? Oh, I like this. I like this question. What if I have a close friend I confide in? Is it still dangerous to share an experience that exposes a person's wrongdoing? And what if it is on the telephone? Okay, remember when I mentioned about Malcolm X? I mentioned Jesus too, okay, because it reminded me of Jesus. But remember when I mentioned Malcolm X exposing Elijah? And Elijah probably wasn't the only person he exposed to. He's probably exposing there. I know there's other people too, just exposing people, religion, whatever, of their hypocrisy, the sin, them pretending to be something that they're not behind closed doors, right? I had mentioned how that was a one of the factors that played into the assassination because that was how it began. The moment he did that, it was war. He started a war, and it was let's keep law enforcement out of this because ultimately it was a war against a human being and religion. We take it back to Jesus. That war began. Think about it. Jesus came and disrupted a lot of a lot of stuff that happened in the churches, and those Pharisees did not like that at all. Like they've been highly trained to do what they do, and they got this man calling himself the Messiah. What kind of training do you have? And you trying to tell us that you the Son of God? You think you know more than us? Get him out of here. That's how they felt. The Pharisees, the religious Pharisees. These are the religious priests that people will go to for saving and for advice. And here come Jesus trying to offer the world advice. Oh yeah, they got mad and they got jealous. So bring it back to Malcolm X. That was a very similar situation what happened with him. Um, Exposing was the first step of the war beginning. That was the first step. All the other events, hey, give me my house back. Give me my car back. That happened well after that. But that was what caused it. Yep. Um, okay, the part where I said, exposing, is it dangerous to, okay, so the part where I said, now I'm talking about, like I said, he exposed it was televised. The whole world saw it. It's on TV. But I'm saying, let's say it's just on a telephone conversation. It's just you and your friend talking. Is it dangerous to share that experience with your friend and expose the person, their name? I say my answer is yes, it is dangerous to mention the name, exposing a person's sins or wrongdoing, even if it's a telephone conversation. I've done this before. I mean, I think we all have. I mean, who do you go to? Who do you go to when you're Who do you go to when you're going through things? You call your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your you calling somebody. Can you believe what just happened to me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know that lady Teresa at the store? She didn't. You calling somebody because you just want to talk about it. And I know I've done a lot of talking, wanting to tell somebody something, how somebody did me wrong. And I know other people, that's what human beings do. However, having the understanding and knowing that it's not just you two on the phone call conversation, having an understanding that it's possible that that information can get out to the person you're talking about can be dangerous. Let's say it's just regular person. Something might not happen to you. It might not be a well-known figure like someone a part of the nation. Okay, you know, they probably didn't give you a house to own and they're going to firebomb the house that they own because you didn't give it back. You know, it might not be a situation like that. However, the more you continue to make a habit of doing that, it'll become so much of a habit to where you might end up saying it just that one time. And it may be about someone that will get so mad, maybe they have some kind of leverage and start making these threats and they might try to harm you. So the more we make a habit of doing something, see, I'm cutting my black ladies. The more we have a habit of doing something, it just we make a practice of it, and then bam, oh, you do it, you say it with the wrong person, and now you receiving threats on your life, and the threats, if you don't know how to react to it well, like turning the other cheek, act like you didn't hear it, and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that. That's what turning the other cheek is like. You know, all right, you hit me again with your insults, right? But if a person doesn't, I know that's not how Malcolm, he didn't believe in turn the other cheek. And I used to not believe in that. I do now, but it takes time to get to that point. It's time and understanding. But if you react away, like someone threatens you and you threaten them back, hey, they call you anonymously and say, hey, I'm going to kill you, and they hang up or they end the call. Let's say they do it like 5 times, and then on the 6th time, they call it, hey, I'm going to kill you. And then you say, F you, I'm going to kill you. Uh-oh. Wrong idea. Now you just did what they do. Now you then threaten them in return. Oh, my God. See, now they know they got some kind of power over you to get you to act like them. Now they know, oh, okay, good. So she's threatening us back. That's good. Now let's try to approach her with some knives. I'm just thinking of, let's try to approach her with something. You know, let me put my finger up and make it look like a gun and put my hand in my pocket. This has happened with me times before where I would see a guy, and I believe it's purposely done. A man, and it usually happens with men. Rarely happens with women. See it with these men. They'll put their hands kind of like, it's like they have it in their pocket to make it look like they're reaching for a gun. And they'll look at me. This happens so many times. They'll look at me like, you know, like me mugging me. Kind of like, don't mess with me, girl. But it's obvious they ain't got no gun. Because I'll be looking like, he ain't even got no gun, you know. But they do that and put their hand in their pants and make it look like they got a gun to scare you. It happens. But you know, anyways. So, what I was saying was, don't make threats back. That's when turning the other cheek comes into play. It's because you want to be aware that people want you to act like them. So then the next thing that they do to you, they can justify it because they can say, well, look what you said. Didn't you say you was going to kill me? And then you can say, but you said you was going to kill me first. But it's like, you still said it. It don't matter. You put it out there, and now they can say that you said it. And then if you try to go to somebody else, say, well, they said it to me first, you just gonna sound stupid like a kid. They're gonna be like, yeah, but did you say this? It's not gonna be any more about what they did. It's gonna be all about what you said. That's the unfair part about it. That's why you got to turn out a cheek. Jesus was trying to help us because he know how people are, how some people, not all of them. Anyways, so yeah, it's dangerous. When I say, what if it's on the telephone? I was thinking about this yesterday and I was laughing. I thought it was funny. It's like it's funny to me for some reason. Have you ever called a call center and you waited on the line and you heard a recording that states, this call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes? I've heard it a lot, even as when I was younger. I've heard it, and it didn't even mean anything to me when I used to hear it a lot when I was younger, but I just didn't mean. I would hear it and it would go away. I wouldn't even think twice about what it meant. Now, and then based off of my experiences, me getting closer to God, my spiritual testimony, whatever, I think that's probably why now I understand what that means. It's like people are already telling you the call is being recorded. They say it's for quality assurance purposes, for whatever, I guess, based off the business, that purpose. It doesn't even, I thought about it. It don't even matter what purpose. You're telling me that you're recording me. And it got to make you wonder what other calls are being recorded too. My answer is all of them. Because I think one has stated this call or all calls are being recorded. So that's something else to think about. And not a lot of people are going to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you because I want to help you. Other than that, like I said, people like to gossip, and you have to really trust. Do you really trust your friend? Hopefully, you have a really good friend you trust. Because just know it's possible they could be telling other people what you're confiding in them, telling them. And that word might get out to that person that you are talking about. So, this is one thing that I've tried to change in my personal life is even if I want to vent, I want to talk about it, I just want to share it. Maybe I want to share my testimony. Maybe I want to share my experience. Whatever it is, a personal, private, that's supposed to be private between me and someone, phone call. I try my best to not even mention their name in the conversation anymore. I used to do it a lot. Now I don't even be wanting to say the name just because I feel like that person's gonna know. The moment I say it on the phone, they're gonna know some kind of way. And I don't want to seem messy or gossipy in no kind of way, or I don't want to bring any kind of hate towards myself, even if it's in private. That's why when God tells us not to gossip, He doesn't say just don't gossip when you make YouTube videos. It's okay to gossip when you're at home between you and your friends. It's okay. Gossip usually involves mentioning people's names. If you don't mention a person's name, I don't look at it like too much of gossip. It's still possible to have gossip without saying a name, but I think it eliminates the fact that you're trying to either embarrass someone or make someone look bad because you're not mentioning their name. But if you talk about somebody with a white glove, a sparkly glove, some tube socks, doing a moonwalk, and he died, and he was famous, I'm going to know you're talking about Michael Jackson. So there's, some things that are just obvious. If a person make a video and they talk about somebody, but they don't want to mention a name, it's like, I know who you're talking about. But still, I just think it's just so much better. I think it just looks so more sophisticated and more mature when we can just eliminate that, even if it's private. I'm telling you, you watch, you're gonna see a lot of things change in your life if you just try not to do that. But I know it's gonna be difficult, and y'all probably ain't gonna listen. I know. Um, yeah, that's what I said. There's a way to confide in someone about how they did you wrong. I mean, now I do want to mention there are, like I said, there seems to be exceptions to almost every rule in life. And with this, I believe that the exception to the rule is sometimes you have to mention a name depending on the situation and circumstance. If someone commits a crime or they do something to you to where you feel like you got to go to the authorities or whatever, then now you got to mention their name. Who did it? Okay. Or, maybe if you're at school or at work and you feel like you're being mistreated unfair or discriminated against, you can turn the other cheek. But I'm telling you right now, it might be difficult to continue to do it. You might have to say something at some point. Because if you continue to turn the other cheek and nothing's being resolved and things continue to get worse, that's when you know you might have to just say something. But I would still encourage to at least try to turn the other cheek when you're being treated unfair. Hope things get better. But if they don't, then you need to say something. And usually in those moments, you might have to say a name. These situations are different. But I'm saying when you just want to end a relationship, like how Malcolm X wanted to end it with the Nation of Islam, that was a relationship that he had with the religion. Or, end it, separate itself, or because he felt like they was fake. Like, y'all fake. It's hypocritical, right? Um, there it's still possible to do that. Or be in a regular relationship with you and a guy or a guy and a woman. It's possible to do that and not go on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook and put all that out there. Like, my boyfriend did me wrong today. He cheated on me. His name is Darren Samuels. This is just the name I'm making up. I don't even know a Darren Samuels. That's why I just made it up. He cheated on me. He's messed up, y'all. Y'all need to. Oh my God! Don't do nothing like. Now there's times I've used Facebook in the past, and I had to take a break because I try to be more careful about the things that I post. Now I would really be wanting to just put stuff on there that's not too personal. It might be something I'm reading about, some historical fact or whatever, or biblical truth, and I might make a comment, but I don't want to use it in that way because it can be really destructive if you use it as a personal tool. And then you're looking at Facebook like a therapy tool instead of waiting for God to bring some good friends in your life so you can talk to them about it. Because God wants us to have friends. He does. To talk about these things. Or if you don't have many friends like myself, make a YouTube video and start your own podcast. But be careful when you share names. It's just really messy. I'm telling you. Just don't look good. It don't look good. It's not. It's only going to hurt you. I'm almost done with this video because this is just really mainly the Q&A. I got about one more question. Uh, yeah. Okay. I already covered that part. Oh, I did want to mention, like, if you are in this situation, I try to avoid court, going to a police officer for help. I hate to say it. I just try to avoid it so much and try to lean on God for help and guidance. Like there are situations where it's necessary, but and I think I've always kind of been like that. I try my best to not depend on outside sources for help. But there are some situations where you might need to do that. There's exceptions to things. So in those situations, my advice, like let's say you're when I mentioned work or school, and it's becoming so unbearable to continue to keep turning another cheek, and you taking and you taking, you taking, and you like, damn, I'm just being, this is so obvious at this point. I'm being treated so unfairly. I need to say something. It's obvious. It's so obvious. Come on, even a baby can see this. I suggest, and I'm talking about the situations where it might go to the level of you having to go to court. You know, police get involved. I'm talking about serious stuff like police get involved. There's some kind of allegation, or it has to be really something like that, really bad. Make sure you have all the facts first. Evidence, gather as much evidence as you can, any witnesses, an accurate and truthful account of what really happened. If you're not careful, you may lose your case. You will probably regret mentioning someone's name if you still have to work with that person. Yeah, you're going to regret it because you still got to go to work with the same people. So just be really careful that you have most accurate and truthful information that you can present before a judge if you have to go to court, because you want to win. Your goal is to win. If you lose and you have to go back to the same job because you ain't got no, you still, whatever the issue is, or let's say it's not a job. Let's say it's a relationship, and let's say it's a relationship and you didn't told on somebody or all the dirt that they doing, right? You better hope that you win your case. Because if they get out of jail, if they on trial and they get out of jail, they coming for you. And when I say coming, they might not be coming for you physically. They might turn over a new page. And you know what I'm saying? They might be like trying to change and be a better person. They might not try to kill you. But just know, whatever you had with that person in a relationship, you probably never have. They will never trust you again the moment you decide to take a person to court. And that's one of the reasons why I really try my best to stay away from the whole court system and fighting my problems that way and trying to sue somebody because they did me wrong. There's times people have done cruel stuff to me, like violated me, and I did not pursue any criminal action because that was me turning the other cheek. I could have, but I'm not that type of person. I'm not trying to milk the system and make money off of it. Even when someone hurts me, I don't do that. Someone could call me stupid, whatever, but I know, I believe in that. You reap what you sow, and the Newton's third law. You sue somebody, they're gonna sue you. You slap someone, you're gonna get slapped. It may not happen at that time. Trust me, it's gonna eventually happen. Some kind. Trust me. And I might cover this in another episode because there's a lot I can say about that. With my testimony of, oh, I did that and this happened to me. Oh my God. Ah. And it might be like messed up, like, damn. Oh. But that's just my advice. If you're going to court, you better make sure you accurate. You try to stand in front of a judge and present your case with things that another lawyer can question you and make you look stupid. Be like, hold on, that's not true. And make you look like a liar. Not only are you going to lose, but you're going to lose your credibility. People are going to not trust you in your word. The credibility is really, I've been learning, it's really important. It's really important, especially going to court. You got to make sure that you have, let's say you don't have any evidence. Well, you better be coming as accurate as possible. And if you lose that situation because you didn't lie or you make twisted something and what it's not, um, I feel sorry for you if that person get out of jail. That's why I don't like court because I be once. Hell no. I don't want to put myself in no position to where somebody coming after me because I didn't told on them. Oh hell no. See, I don't want to say I'm scared, but I'm telling y'all, I even got to the point where I don't even want to say no names on no phone call. It's like, okay, this person did me wrong. I mean, I'm kind of getting to the point to where I don't even want to say that someone did me wrong. I don't even want to say it, but it might come up in a conversation. You know, I might not even purposely make it come up. It might just come up, and then I'll be like, okay, oh, I feel really uncomfortable talking about it now because I just feel like it just makes your life so much worse. You know. Anyways, last question. I think I covered that as man. Yeah. And one more thing I want to mention is if you have to return to work with the same person you didn't told on, that can cause more toxic. Oh God, the environment, work environment, can be even more toxic than before. You cause more tension. It just makes things worse. See, when God tells us to turn out the cheek and you love your enemy, He's telling us to protect us. However, just know you do have a right. You have every right to speak your voice. And like I said, there's some exceptions. But if you can avoid it, please just try to avoid it. Because once you mention a person's name and you go to court, damn, you might not even be going back to that job. I'm just saying. If it gets to that point, that no, that ain't going to be your job no more. But I'm saying if it is a situation you got to return back to work, oh man, you don't, no. Trust me. You're going to feel even more uncomfortable going to work knowing you didn't told on some people. And now they're going to be looking for whatever you can do so they can tell on you. And I'm saying like serious stuff. Sometimes you need, I mean, there are exceptions. Sometimes you got to mention something. You got to say something when things aren't being done the way they need to be. But I'm just talking about more serious matters when it involves police and courts and stuff. Uh, that's what I'm talking about. Court. Mm-hmm. 6. Last question. Wow, who knew this Q&A would take me so long? My God. Okay, 6. Should we be fearful of police officers with guns, the CIA, FBI, or the government? So should we fear any of those agencies? Before I answer that, I want to read scripture. Oh, you already mentioned that incident. Uh-huh. If you got a Bible, please turn with me now. Ooh, goodness. Turn with me to the book of Romans. Please. If you have a Bible, open it up. Romans chapter 13. I love this scripture. Oh my God. I think Romans is in the back. Oh, Destiny, come on. You gotta know this stuff. Acts. Here we go. Romans 13. Okay. 13, verse. Ooh. I put verse 1 through 10. You don't really need to read all that. I might not even read all that. Let's just see how I feel. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resists the power, resists the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnations. I'm trying to see why I wrote 1 through 10. Okay, so this scripture is talking about the authorities. Be submissive to higher powers. It's talking about authority, like judges, police officers, um, maybe your boss. I say maybe your boss at work, because not all the time does everybody act in a just manner. It could be, I've heard stuff that judges have done or said or whatever. But we should be subjective to the authorities because this scripture right here, first of all, is a part of the law, right? You know, it's against the law. If you're doing something that's against the law, then you're not being submissive to the law. Then you can go to jail because you committed a crime, right? And you might go to jail. Okay. That's how it happens. So then you have authorities that are connected to the law that have the power to say what what is your punishment for what you did. That's where this scripture comes in. It's stating that these people are here because of God. Not saying that everybody in the courts are all God-fearing people. Not saying that all law enforcement is godly people. I mean, there's evil in every occupation. However, the organization itself is there because of God. What I mean is, you know, court is there because of God. There might be some judges that may be unfair, more unfair than others, but the court system is there for a reason. Law enforcement is here for a reason. In reading the scripture, you see why God allowed it to happen because it was God's thought for it to happen. See what I told you? Nothing, God does not allow nothing to happen that's not supposed to happen. Everything happens because of what He allows. And when I first read this scripture a while ago, I was like, the powers that be are ordained of God? Wait, this is talking about authority? What do you mean ordained of God? It might hit you differently when you read it. So when you're not submissive to the law and following, like what the people say, following law, and you don't comply with just basic ABC stuff, like, and it has a lot to do with sin. If you're not sinning, you're probably not going to be committing any crimes. A person can sin without committing crimes, but you get what I'm saying? You get it? Like, the less a person sins, they will be more less likely to commit any crime. That's what I believe. But if you go against the authorities, just know you're going against God because He's the one that ordained them to be here. I think that's all I need to read of that scripture. I don't even think I need to read 1 through 10, but you know what? I do want to read verse 9 because that was verse 1 and 2. But I want to read verse 9 where it states, "For this thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet. And there be any commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, Thou shalt love neighbor as thyself." And 10, "Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore love is the fulfilling of the law." what brings it back to the law. Like, okay, we know this from the Ten Commandments. You're not supposed to kill, steal, covet somebody else's whatever they got. You're not supposed to make more your own idols or worship idols other than God. You're supposed to put God first. It's 10 commandments. That's based off the 10 commandments. So the reason why I wanted to read that is because I believe even sinning can get you in a lot of trouble that can lead to more trouble that involves you doing something that's against the law that can end up you can end up in jail. It could all start just from sinning. Like you fornicate with someone, you really like him, you think you love with him or whatever, your boyfriend, and he rejects you the moment you give your body away because you gave it away too soon. And then he's like, "Oh no, I'm cool on you. I got what I want." Oh, hmm. So you just gonna stop talking to me now? You gonna leave me? Okay. A lot of people I know myself don't handle rejection well, but I've heard some stories to where it's made me feel like a saint. It's really made me feel like, oh wow, I should have some wings on my shoulders because damn, I've heard some situations. What? A woman getting a damn knife or a gun and trying to kill the man because he didn't cheated on her or he didn't left her or him leaving her for somebody. Just know that stuff has happened to me. I've been cheated on. I've been rejected so many times. Never you, not no weapon though. But the stories I've heard have made me feel like a saint. Because I'm like, damn, I guess you're not so bad, Destiny, because goddamn, that's bad. Like women trying to, vice versa, it can happen with men too. But trying to kill the guy or actually killing the guy, like doing it, uh, killing the girl that's involved. Things can get really out of control. Now they're in court and somebody going to jail for so many years because their temper was that bad out of control. When I hear stuff like that, it reminds me to stop being so hard on myself because it makes me feel like the most I've really done is try to slap somebody in the face. It's really been like slap, but when it gets to the point where someone's trying to kill you or get a weapon or something, that's where things can really get dangerous. So, and all of that can just happen just from sinning. You having sex with someone that's not your husband. Now you giving him the power to reject you, the power to make a fool out of you, because y'all not even in no committed relationship. I've been there. I've done that. It's just the worst thing that you can possibly do is give your body away so soon without not having an agreement that hey, we are a couple. We're gonna get married one day. You're my husband. We are together. And that leads to crime. Leads to somebody wanting to kill somebody. Somebody got a gun. Somebody's hurting someone, and now someone's behind bars, just like that. And so that's why it's important for us not even to commit fornication. Like I said, I've done it. Who hasn't? But it's only led to disaster in my life. The fornication, oh boy, I'm telling you, that fornication leads to so many other things and make you, oh, it's bad. And so that's sin. So that's why I read verse 9 of Romans chapter 13, because it has a lot to do with the law. Just that easy and fast, it can lead to crime. Just making that choice of wanting to have sex with someone you're not married to. Just like that. Because just know that that other person will reject you at some point in time. So just get ready. It will happen. Anyways, I'm concluding this. I want to conclude this part 2 the Q&A of my talk of, let's see, what are we talking about today? The talk about guns in America. Are they dangerous or more helpful? I covered a lot. I talked about a lot. And I hope this has been helpful to you because I feel like it's been helpful to me. But that's my goal, is to help other people and to share my experience and, hey, my knowledge, my way of thinking. What I wanted to mention about the scripture real quick before I press that button is now I want to answer the question, because I read the scripture and I didn't answer the question. So the question is, should we be fearful of police officers with guns? Be fearful of the CIA, FBI, government? My answer is no. We need to be more fearful of what God thinks of us and how we choose to live our lives. If we have the understanding that these agencies were placed here because of God, we would probably rebel and fear less. We have that understanding. Uh, if you are committing crime, you're doing a lot of bad stuff. Let's just say you're just sinning. Let's just say you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. You know God don't want you to do it, and the authorities don't want you to do it. So it could be living a life of sin and living a life of crime, one or the other. Then you should be fearful of these agencies. You should be very fearful. Because now you're putting yourself in a position where someone can question you, you could get set up. I mean, something could happen to you because of the way you're living your life. But if you are not making a practice of that sin and making a practice of crime, whether you're stealing, killing, for reeling, no, seriously, like you making a practice of it, no, then you won't have to be fearful of it. No, you won't. Not at all. Because of how you live your life. It makes a big difference. So that's my answer. No. But I do believe that a lot of people that are afraid of that, like the FBI, and oh, they watching me. They, it's like, well, what? Hey, listen, what are you doing that you don't want other people to see you doing? That's the way I see it. If you wasn't doing nothing you shouldn't be doing, then you wouldn't even be too concerned about them watching you. However, I do understand that it might. I know for me, it might be uncomfortable if you in your underwear or you in the shower. I'm just saying, you in the shower, you in your underwear, and you like, oh, can people see me? Oh my God! But you're gonna drive yourself crazy because I think I was doing that to myself, and I'm trying to get out of that. You're gonna drive. You just gotta live your life, okay? But I know it could be uncomfortable if you start thinking like that, like, oh my God, oh, I'm naked. Who can see me? But it's like, you know what? Who cares? Whatever. I am what I am. It is what it is. But if you are doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, then yeah, you should be very fearful. Because now you're giving other people ammunition and leverage to come after you. I say try to do what you can. Try, because not everything is going to be all perfect and peachy, but at least when I say try, just try to do the right thing. Anyways, uh, that's my thoughts on guns, weapons. I hope you enjoyed this lesson that I prepared for y'all. Next week, what I'm planning on, I might change my mind, but I think I really want to talk about this. Next week, what I'm planning on talking about for episode 3, I told you I'm going to work on not making these videos as long. So maybe I won't put as much information, because that's really what it is. Maybe I'll try not to put too much information in it. Ah, but anyways, next week I want to talk about strange love. What is it? And since this is called the Nomadic Devine Strange Love Podcast, I called it that for a reason. And I wanted to go dig deeper into what strange love means to me, and to maybe to give y'all a better understanding why I even named it this. I felt like it just fit me perfectly. Like, oh, that's perfect, Destiny. Strange love. Perfect. So, anyways, that's what I want to talk about next week is what is it? What is strange love? What is it? Talk to y'all. Anyways, I'm going to end on that. I need to take a nap. Actually, I might stay up because I'm hungry and I want to eat. Then I might go to sleep. Y'all have a good day. Thank you for listening.